Hey guys, it's Squid. Welcome back to my channel. And joining me today is Captain Kearn. How are you doing
Hello.
today?
It is a day.
It is a day. Are you ready to get into this?
Yes, I am.
All right. So, I was sent all the documents by another a chat member. Um, I have not shared them with Captain Kearn because he did not want to see them until now. So he has never seen any of these documents. And to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't seen them all either. There is a lot. So we're going to just get going on this. Nothing really to preempt this unless you want to explain what this case is about, because you can
So
do it better
I
than
will
me.
give you the 30-second TLDR on this. This is the case against the I won't say gentleman. I will say
You can call him a bastard.
complete waste, bastard, complete waste of human embryo. There's a lot of things I could call him that deleted my daughter at 21 years old.
If you want to know details, do you still have that live up that you did about
Yes,
Tessa's story on his
yes.
channel, which I will? Can one of my well, Captain Kern, you're a mod. You post your link.
I
Um,
can post. Yeah.
on his channel on the 3rd of January, he did a basically a tell-all about this situation and the origins of the situation. We are not going to get into that on this channel. You go over and go subscribe to Captain Kern, give him some love, show your support for him on his channel. I appreciate it on mine, but it's better on his. Um, so we're just gonna kind of get into these documents, and they're ordered by date. So I haven't opened any of them on my computer yet. I've opened them on my phone. So starting uh, January 27th of 20. Wait, hold on. They're all out of order now that I look at it. So they are 12/7/22 is the dates that I have. So I also got some documents on and that's the problem with just being sent a drive full of them from the state, is they don't and there's 70 something documents. So going everything from um what the subpoenas are, affidavits. So I can't remember the exact date of it's January 3rd. It was 2022.
January 3rd, 2022.
Okay. I have it written down and I remember your live stream, but you know what they say about assuming when you can't remember something. I don't assume. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna start. Whee! And I was a little bit more prepared for this, except for today is a really, really bad pain day. So
I'm,
we are
I'm with you. So this is going to be tough on all angles.
yeah, February 2022. Valentine's Day of 2022 is the first document that I have from here. And I don't know what all these documents are. They're labeled, but they're, when your computer shortens them, like,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way they're aligned by month, but not by year. And I'm going to start doing that when I save files. I'm going to start going year and then date, because when they're by month, but that really doesn't help me when I was searching for the earliest one. So we have the probable cause certificate. And these are also what I had, because I have his appeal. I think
Yeah.
Flash Fan sent me his appeal.
Yeah, that's the
That
only
ended.
document I've actually ever seen, and that was a joke.
Yeah. Um okay. This is the first one we'll get into, and we might need to take we're going to need to take multiple days to do this. But you just let me know, if Thursdays work for you, that's perfect. Like
we are on your timeline on this. This is your channel, so you stop when you
I'm
need
good
to.
for once a week. You want to do every Thursday?
Yeah.
And then we
can do that.
I kind of like doing that where I do like this every Wednesday, this every Thursday to keeps my brain.
For a less than 7-day trial, from what you've already said, there's a lot of information to go through.
Yeah, this probable cause affidavit is 34 pages. There's a lot. So this happened in Kimball County, Nebraska. Nebraska is one of those states that it puts a little bit online behind a paywall, but doesn't give you everything unless you know who to contact and then or go in and get it. So one of our viewers, one of my ride or dies, my OGs, lives in that area, and went and got all these documents. None of these documents have photos. They were removed because one, because of YouTube, and because like, even if I could show anything on my channel, that's not something I would show. So as I'm aware and I've been told, none of these have documents. Or pictures. If we come across one, I'm shutting the screen down, and you know why I all of a sudden just like cut the, stop sharing my screen. Because no one needs to see that. All right, state of Nebraska versus I told you I would never say his name, so we're going to call him the bastard from now on.
That works.
Yeah, I told you I would never say his name because he doesn't deserve anybody to say his name. He's one of those people. All right. Here we go. The undersigned, being duly sworn, deposes the state that on the 3rd day of January 2022 at 2100 hours in the county of Kimball, the undersigned arrested that dude whose date of birth is 12/1/85. He's younger than me. Not by much. On January 3rd, 2022 at approximately 20:48, investigator Woods was dispatched to that address in Kimball County, Nebraska on an active shooting incident with the death of an unidentified white female. Investigator Woods, displaying the badge of his office, made contact with Deputy Loy of Kimball County Sheriff's Office, Nebraska State Patrol Troopers Grable and Gibbons. Investigator Woods was advised Deputy Loy that dude had been taken into he's that dude, like that dude, had been taken into custody by Chief Bremer of the Kimball County Police Department and transported to the Kimball County Jail. Referenced the shooting incident had taken place within the residence. Coop and Wilborn raid. So far, it's literally just it's what every affidavit is. It's just them describing the situation like they were writing a book.
Yep.
Yeah. So does military. So military will put it'll put the date and then the month. So like 24 September, whatever. But Investigator Woods had contact with the advised Chief Bremer at approximately 2029. He was dispatched and responded to that address for a shooting incident. Upon Chief Bremer's arrival, he met that dude outside the house with him stating he had accidentally shot his wife in the head and she was not alive anymore. Chief Bremer
I want to preface this, they were never married. That
was going to be one of my questions for you, was they weren't married. As far as I knew, they weren't married, but yeah. Okay. Chief Bremer at that time placed the dude in custody. Investigator Woods had contact with Deputy Loy of Kimball County Sheriff's Office, who had reported the Kimball County ambulance personnel had arrived on scene and determined the victim had no signs of life. Deputy Loy pronounced TOD at 2052. And I'm paraphrasing, well, not paraphrasing, but I'm like shortening some of this just to make it a little faster. Deputy Loy advised the victim appeared to have a single pew freedom seed wound to the face. Deputy Loy advised there was a single shotgun and a box of 20-gauge shotgun shells laying on the bed in the northwest bedroom. Deputy Loy reported that the female victim was laying face down in the west side of the bed. Deputy Loy also reported he observed drug paraphernalia in the bedroom on the east side of the bed on the floor. Investigator Woods obtained search warrant for the residence. Investigators with the Nebraska State Patrol processed the crime scene and collected evidence. If at any time you need a minute, let me know. Because you're a tough guy, but this is, you know. Hey. Oh. Investigator Sinnott performed an in-person interview with him. He stated he had been fighting with someone, and Tessa told him of a pew-pew that was in the rafters of the garage. Serrano stated he retrieved the pew-pew from the garage and brought it inside the house. He stated he was attempting to clear the weapon when Tessa had told him to be careful, it was loaded. Serrano stated yeah, and at any time, feel free to stop me. And let me you input your comments whenever. He stated he was on one edge of the bed and Tessa was on the other edge or the middle of the bed when he was attempting to break the action and the gun went off and shot. Anybody who's ever, like, mine is a 20 gauge. I own a 20 gauge. That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Let me explain. The shotgun that is in question is the one I actually gave to my daughter when she was 15 years old. It's an H&R break barrel 20 gauge. The gun, the firearm, the pew-pew, the wireless hole puncher, when it left my home, when she moved up there, worked absolutely perfectly without issue. Later on in the investigation, I will tell you this, I was informed that everything that he told the investigators was determined to be a flat-out lie. He had already known where the pew-pew was. She didn't tell him. My daughter wouldn't tell a convicted felon where a firearm was. She was allowed to have the firearm on the property, just not in the house, according to Nebraska state law. That came from the chief prosecutor. So.
Yeah, and my goal with this is not only to inform you of everything that was found, because I know that you were having a hard time with the state of Nebraska finding anything out, but also to kind of figure out what went wrong with the case itself. Because
the beginning of here, what you've already read is, I mean, I'll say this. I was kept in the loop on a number of things that I probably shouldn't have been, because I kind of demanded it.
But you also did say that his time in behind bars is mostly for other things other than the actual unaliving.
Yes.
Which that should be number one. Like, no matter what else you did, you took someone's daughter. Like,
I mean,
no matter what
flat out admitted, he admits in this first document that there is premeditated intent to unalive somebody else.
And he was 40
not convicted of that.
Well, he's
36.
36.
He was 36.
Well, now he's almost 40.
Yeah.
Now he's almost 40, and he'll be, with the average life expectancy in this country being about 78, he might be a free man.
Yep.
That's the sad part. And that is where I want to know that's my question. Like, how did that happen? That's kind of my focus with this, is just to figure out what happened and why the jury had to make the decisions that they had to make. And that's where my brain goes, because I always ask that question, why? You want to know, why did this happen? I want to know well, not only why did this happen, but why might he be a free man? All right.
Now, my main concern is to find out where things broke down.
Charges detained under involuntary manslaughter, felony. Obviously, nobody. There's no misdemeanor manslaughter. All right. This is state of Nebraska versus that dude. Now is 4th day of January 2022, 1:20 p.m. This matter comes before the county court pursuant to County Riverside v. McLaughlin for a probable cause hearing on the arrest of the above-named defendant. The county court, upon the law enforcement officer's affidavit of probable cause, finds and orders as follows. There is probable cause to arrest the above-named defendant and probable cause to believe the defendant committed a felony. Bond was set at $100,000, 10%, I don't understand why they do that. They set it at $100,000 and then they're like, well, here, you only have to pay this. Like, then what was the point?
Mm-hmm.
Additional conditions of bond. The defendant must remain within the city of Kimball. And Kimball's not that big, is it? So that's a small,
Yeah, it's like 3,000, 4,000 people at most.
If I was confined to my town, I'd be like in a, 2 square mile radius. That's not very long, or not very far. Defendant must execute waiver of extradition. Defendant must report in person to the Kimball County Sheriff's Office every day of the week between 8 and 9 Mountain Time. Defendant shall neither process nor consume alcoholic beverages and submit to testing of blood, breath, or urine for the presence of alcohol or drugs upon request by law enforcement. Defendant shall submit to search of personal property and any vehicles located in any vehicles owned and a residence upon request of law enforcement, and shall not violate any laws, which is kind of a given when you're out on bond, I would say.
Yeah.
Flash fan wants to know if there was any courtroom cameras.
Not that I'm aware of.
Nebraska seems one of those states that they only give you enough to, they dangle the carrot in front of your face and, here, you can have this, but, you can have this one carrot when there's a whole garden in the backyard. Because originally searching for documents, I was able to find their website, and they only gave me 5 or 6 documents, and I had access to their search criteria and the search that I did on this guy. However, they only give you 3 days before you have to pay again. So you have to pay $15 for 3 days of access to the only search that you did. If you want to start a new search and search for somebody else's name, you have to pay another $15. And they only give you 3 days. 3 days. Whereas Florida's like, here you go. Here's all his shit. And this dude had issues going back to, I want to say 2012? Maybe earlier than that. Maybe earlier. I can't remember exactly right now, but I had told you in your chat that what I found.
A quick story about this bastard is when my daughter first started dating him, her ex-boyfriend had warned us and said that he was a felon. Well, I tried to do background, lookups on him, and I couldn't find anything. That's because he didn't go by his first name. He went by his middle name.
Of course not.
And that's the name he gave to my daughter. My daughter didn't even know his real first name.
And here's the thing. There are lots of people in this world, for better or for worse, that go by their middle name. So when you try to search them and search property records and search death records and this and that, you can't find them because they didn't go by their first name. So you can look up their middle and last name all you want. If you don't know their actual first name, somebody that's kind of in the headlines now, Uncle Frank. There's been kind of a controversy about him not being who he said he was. His first name's not Frank. His middle name's Frank. So of course, when you're searching for Frank and his last name, I'm not going to dox the man. But when you're searching for him, you're not going to find him because You're not going to find him because Frank is not his first name. And I know his first name, and I'm not saying because that ain't my place. But yeah, that whole situation is another rabbit hole that I could. But yeah. All right. He was charged on the 5th day of January of 2022. That dude on or about 3rd day of January in the county of Kimball County, Nebraska. Then they're being did then and there. English. I mean, did there unintentionally cause the death of Tessa Lynn while the defendant was in the commission of an unlawful act, in an unlawful firearm, if you want to be completely honest. Like, it was legally kept on the property, but him being in possession of it was not legal. And these are the charging documents. This is what I was able to find online. This. So, just things that were already said. His first next court appearance was the 26th, which is kind of when I'm going through papers and I'm like trying to find the highlights and there's 100 papers, I kind of skip over, like, this is just saying a hearing. We don't need to know when the hearing is. I just need to write it in my calendar. So if I skip over some of this stuff, it's because I deem it not important to read on a stream when there's so much other stuff. He had to get an order to appoint counsel. The court, having determined that the defendant is eligible for court-appointed counsel, also finds that being of a conflict of interest or unavailability is not proper to appoint a member of Kimball County Public Defender's Office. Instead, private counsel should be appointed to represent the defendant. Kelly Breen and Stacy Bach is hereby appointed to represent the defendant in connection with any proceedings related to this case, and then the next court date. So he had, well, no, he was just using his middle name. Like, that's not an alias. Like, Mr. Squid goes by his middle name. Like, his entire family calls him by his middle name. I don't, but his family does. So, like, when I talk to his family, I have to, like, change the name, and I get confused. And, like, I'll be talking to my dad for a year. I would say his name, and then I would say his middle name, and my dad would be like, "Who are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, have to." Depending on who I'm talking to, I call him something different. It's all his legal name, but it's just his middle name. And
so in coincidence, I later found out why he was not granted a local, public attorney. It was because, one, everybody had already represented him in a previous case, and or he was related.
Well, when you're,
but I never got out of the prosecutor why the judge assigned 2 attorneys to him.
Most people do get 2, even from public defender's office. Most people have a main counsel and then, a second chair. So it's, oh yeah. Did you see Georgie sent me a DM with the documents of Scott Stark is being deposed.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if it's breaking news, but it's breaking to me. And then the financial affidavit that he's not able to be, I like how he put, like, married and he had to scratch it out. I'm like, that's weird. And this dude had kids. Like,
yes,
you not only,
they were in the house too.
Damn. All right. Let's so all of this was sent, journal entry in order from the hearing on the 5th, which is kind of, it's all just court stuff, but some of it, information in it is new, but a lot of it's not. So I'm skipping over what's not what's old. We already heard. We don't need to repeat the details of some things. So this is motion for a bond review and notice of hearing. for the 26th of January. For conditions of bond. It's one of those things of like, I don't need to read it word for word because it's a bond hearing. Like, if you need me to read it, like.
Nope, I don't.
Yeah. Who is deposing Iron Man? Oh, Flash fan. You know how Bubble Brain represents Lynette in the federal case? Well, this is her attorney in the local cases, the Levy County cases. So, all right. So this was just the order for deputy county attorneys, appointing the people that were going to try this case from the state side. We don't talk about him much because I don't really cover the Levy County cases because the only one that interests me is like, now that they've dropped it, that interests me because they've dropped it and now there's going to be that hearing, because I told everybody when they dropped it, mark my words, I have screenshots of it where I literally said, just because one side drops it doesn't mean it's over. There is still court fees, legal things. Why'd you bring it in the first place? Vexatious litigation. Like, there is all these things that I guarantee you the judge is going to want to hear about. And lo and behold, February 5th, that hearing is still in place. It's almost like I've seen this before. Just maybe. Yeah, the thumbnail case against Larry. That was interesting just for any YouTuber who makes thumbnails. That case was just kind of interesting. But, all right. And then the hearing that was set, it's like this, you get this motion, you get this hearing, They have to write everything down like 3 times.
Oh, yeah. In triplicate, no less.
Yep. And this is the same journal entry order for the hearing that was on January 20th. That he set bond, future court appearance, case continued to 2/11 at 1:30. Some of this, like...
Now, this was the first bond hearing, and bond was denied the first hearing.
Yep. It comes down to the defendant by and through counsel and requests the court to set... And Ong Hong Hero, I swear, if you make a comment about that, it better be in a super chat. By and through counsel.
We're going to need the laugh, so please do it.
Oh, he super chatted me $25 on the earlier stream just to see me.
I know he did.
Like, yeah. But that's the only way that he can get me to say certain things, because when the chat makes fun of me for how I talk, I stop saying certain things unless they're in a super chat.
See, you bypassed my comment altogether. I'm going to send you a case of wasabi covered fried calamari just for the irony.
Ew. That sounds gross on like 800 different levels. One, I don't like calamari. Make it make sense. And no.
Squid eating squid.
Gross. That's gross. Who actually eats calamari? Except for rich people. All right. New appearance bond in this matter, order the defendant's release for medical treatments. In support of this motion, defendant shows the following. Bond has not been set at $100,000. Defendant shall reside within Kimball County and sign a pre-waiver of extradition. Defendant suffers gravely from a mass in his gallbladder. Oh, poor thing. Which has caused internal bleeding. Cry me a river. Like, oh, this is my I give a damn face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a meme for that. I've been saving memes lately to just tell people how much I don't care about stuff. Like, it amazes me how like people who know me still don't understand that there's just certain things that like I just don't give a shit about. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I just literally don't give a shit. Like, I don't have... It says, I almost pulled a muscle not giving a fuck. Just, I do part of Chinese, Japanese meals. Yeah. This is not Nick's wheel of regret. Oh, I feel like even saying $25 super chats, I only did it as a joke because they called me a grifter. So I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna be if you're gonna call me a grifter, I might as well have a grift.
I mean, you're going to have to teach me that because I can't seem to get anybody to, to follow the grift.
I can't really either. I have my ride or dies who generally at least super chat me once a stream. Like, I love them. I don't know why they super chat me once a stream, but hey, they do it. Of
course, I don't qualify for super chats yet, so that could be why.
That's probably why. I did that as soon as I could. Not to So Bucky's Wisconsin is getting a Bucky's, just a FYI. I was looking for something because some Max Lab said he messaged me. Max, if you messaged me the stuff that the information about Scott Stark being deposed, I already know. I've been informed.
So, one of the few times that we actually got to see my daughter after she left was when she delivered his ass to Fort Collins or Loveland or something and drove down here while he was in the hospital for like the afternoon.
Should have kept her. But at the end of the day, she was an adult. That's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me about her growing up, is she's fiercely independent right now, and she's only 2. Like, it's isn't the yeah, it's not exactly the thing I want to think about.
You got a long time to wait, so
yeah,
come up with a strategy.
You blink and she's 16 and asking for the car keys. Like, I mean, she's already 2.5. Like, she's already 2. When did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was pregnant yesterday. Like,
I know. It time flies.
I know, and it sucks.
It really does.
It's like it's fun to watch her grow up, and it's also sad to watch her grow up.
My youngest will be 18 this year.
I got a late start, okay? All right. Let's get back to this dude being a douchebag. Defendant has been treated in the last month at Cheyenne Regional Hospital, UH Loveland Medical Center, Scottsbluff Adult Detention Center, D&E Medical Facility, and Bryan LGH West, and despite recommendations for surgery to remove the mass, defendant's medical need for surgery has not been addressed. Defendant is not a threat to abscond or otherwise fail to appear. Is he though?
Yes, he was.
Is he though? What? And I know people always go, well, he has kids. That'll keep him around. It's like, this dude was pointing a shotgun at somebody. You really think he cares about his kids? Like, yeah. Defendant would submit to chemical testing, regular reporting to law enforcement, and a curfew. If released, defendant will report to the court of jurisdiction upon release for a hearing to set any additional requirements of his appearance bond. And I always love when they put this in, but to me, it's futile because people that say they pray don't really pray. Well, some people, when you're in my thoughts and prayers, well, how often do you actually pray or think about me? Like, it's nice if it's true. So when they put this, where defendant prays, I don't see him as the religious type. To grant the hearing to set conditions of bond and release defendant from custody on posting a signature I always have problems with reconnaissance bond and penal amount of $10,000. I swear, if any of y'all make fun of that either, we're gonna have problems.
That's a $50 super chat penalty.
It's like a party foul, but you got to super chat me.
I got to keep things light in my head, or else I'll never make it through this. So
I know, and that's why I don't mind stopping and it taking us a couple weeks to get, or a few
Yeah.
3 or 4 sessions to get through this, because we're trying to keep it lighthearted, because this is it's hard to read sometime these things when you know that it's somebody's daughter, but when you know the person's daughter and you're speaking to that person, it's it puts it in a different, you know, it just makes it just that much more personal. And I learned working in a hospital to detach myself, but at certain times you can't. That's why I sound sometimes like I don't care, or like I'm, not I don't care about the victim. It's like cuz I worked around people dying for so long that, like, if you cried over everybody who died, um you'd never make it
You'd
through a day
never
at work.
stop.
Like, you'd
And
never survive in the medical
I'll
field.
be totally fair and honest. I already have my breakdown this morning, so it's the reason I'm able to stay a little bit stronger.
And if you need, like I said, you need a break.
No,
Well,
I am okay. This is
uh,
all information that I already know. So,
so
the getting the information out there is important.
here, it's a court term when they say pray. I know it is general, but, like, I have a problem. Like, I don't have a problem with people swearing on the Bible if they want to, but, like, when you don't believe in that book and you aren't that kind of person, putting your hand on a Bible is just like it seems disingenuous to me. Like, if you're actually, a Bible reading person, then fine. You want to do it, you do it. You want to put your hand on any religious book, you do it. But, like, when you aren't that type of person, you've never you like, you've never opened the Bible, you've never even seen a Bible. You put your hand on the Bible and you set it on fire. Like, that doesn't strike. It just, so when they say the defendant prays, it's like, it seems disingenuous to me. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Like, feel free to disagree with me, anybody, but, yeah, they say pray in a lot of states, but it's just weird to me. Like, it's one of those court things that I'll never quite understand. I mean, it's tradition, but it never quite rubs me the right way,
Well,
because
it all follows back to the British Empire still. There's certain
oh
things that
yeah,
we just haven't gotten away from. So,
most of our legal stuff is uh
yeah.
from the British. I mean, that's our, yeah, that that phrase. I get made fun of every time. So he must not be here. He must be working, because I get made fun of all the time for that. Every filing. That's why I sometimes skip over it or don't even, like, pay attention to it. It's just so certificate of service and certificate of service. So this is his amended complaint, and we're just going to read the charges because it's, so the first one, manslaughter, two-way felony, attempted first-degree murder. So they charged him with, this is where the court always, like, gets me, is they charge them with what they think they can get, and then they charge them what they want to get.
So, actually, the first degree murder was actually two charges, and that was against his ex-wife and her mother,
Ah,
because that's who he was going after that evening.
when he unalived. Yeah. Okay, now it's making sense. Like, I listened to your stream, but I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of hard, so I had to, like, pop in and out. So I
Understood?
you know, um attempted terroristic threats, I'm guessing one count for his ex and his ex-mother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
and then possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The obvious one, like the very obvious one, that you can never get around. And I'm sorry, I'm repositioning myself constantly more than
You're
usual
fine.
today, because the pain is just like,
Why do you think I
oh.
keep turning my camera off?
Yeah, and Cindy, I get this too. I get it. I understand. But, like, if it's in there and the person is actually, like, a religious person, um, I'm fine with that. But, like, it's disingenuous to me if, disingenuous to me with some of these people that I'm like, you've never read a Bible a day in your life. You don't even know who Jesus is. So, like,
I mean, there are some people that you swear. I would swear that if they touched that Bible when they get up and swear on it that they would burst into flames, but they don't. So
Hey, last time I stepped foot in a church, I had to like check myself. I'm like, nope, I'm good. All right. On the complaint of Douglas J. Warner, Special Deputy Kimball Attorney, made in the name of the state of Nebraska before me, the undersigned notary, 9th day of February. So it was charged a month later. So that's actually pretty quick. Like, to charge him, it's pretty, All right, here's the hard part. Count 1, on or about the 3rd day of January 2022, then and there unintentionally caused the death of Tessa while the defendant was in commission of an unlawful act, to wit, while in commission of the crime of attempted first-degree murder or attempted terroristic threats. Count 2, on or about the 3rd day of January, then and there did engage in conduct which, under the circumstances, he believes them to be constitute a substantial step in the course of a conduct intended to culminate in his commission of the felony of first-degree murder of Shelley Pyle. And then same thing for Sheena. One is his ex-wife and one is his ex-mother-in-law.
Sheena is his ex-wife.
Sheena's the ex-wife. Shelley's the mother-in-law. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. So on or about the 3rd day of January 2022, then and there intentionally engage in the conduct in which, under the circumstances, he believes them to be constitute a substantial step in the course of conduct intended to culminate in his commission of the felony offense of threatening to commit any crime of violence with intent to terrorize Shelley. And then same thing, well, the count 5. Did possess a firearm during the commission of any felony which may be prosecuted in a court of this state, to wit, during the commission of the felony offense of attempted first-degree murder or attempted terroristic threats. Well, having the...
So I actually had asked Doug Warner, the prosecutor, if he was charged with attempted first-degree, terroristic threats. Why wasn't this moved to a federal jurisdiction? That's a federal crime, not a state crime.
That is true. Well,
looked. I could not find anything in Nebraska state law about terroristic threats. And I may have missed something because, emotional and all that stuff. But I was like, isn't this a federal crime? And he goes, well, we're prosecuting it here.
And there's also, it also, what constitutes a terroristic threat? That's what actually. So as we're going through this, I'm thinking of things that I want to look up. So I'm, you know me, I constantly have a notebook in front of me.
Living, that's actually what I did in my live that I did on January 3rd. I'll repost it in the chat if you'd like to take a look at that at a later point.
It's a good one. It's a hard one, but it's a good one.
I may do another just to show some more memories. I actually today found a whole ton of videos and pictures that I had thought were lost.
That's awesome. You found that? When did you find that?
What?
When did you find those pictures?
This morning. That's actually what caused my breakdown.
Which is kind of interesting.
We have so many storage things anymore, Google Drive, Microsoft's Live, storage. I found it on Amazon Photos.
Amazon Photos.
Yeah.
So the Flashman brings up a good point. Look at all this stuff. Luigi Mangione, he's being tried in the state court and he's being accused of terrorism.
Yep.
That's a good point. And that's what I'm like, is there a state-to-state difference on what is a terroristic threat? Is a terroristic
That's going to take a lot of research that I never got into.
Yeah, and it's a rabbit hole. Is it a terroristic threat that, it's only a federal crime if you're terrorizing a politician, or is there some sort of statute like that? Like, it's all these things that we'll have to go on a Friday night rabbit hole. I might just do like a members only, like, help me, and let's look. Because sometimes the chat, like, I'll get in a rabbit hole and I like get stuck and I can't find something, and then I just do a live stream and it's like chat's like, here's this, did you try this, did you try that? And that is why I love my chat, because they are smarter.
That's one of the
than
reasons
me.
I built that AI engine. Make things easier to look up, because it'll automatically correlate.
Yeah, a lot of times chat is smarter than me, and my focus is so narrow, and they're like, well, try this. Like and Karen's books, such a sad story, Captain. You're brave to sit through this. Sorry for your loss. And I asked him if he wanted to be here with me when I did it, or if he wanted me to do it by myself, and I gave him the option. But I also asked his permission to do this. Like, I would never just talk about something that's personal to a friend of mine without asking for permission. So I did have his permission to, after all these documents were sent to me, to do a, because at first it just started with, hey, I'm sitting on a ride to Charleston. Oh, and that's part of the reason that I couldn't stay, or I couldn't watch the whole thing. I was on my way to Charleston. That's why. I was like, I knew there was something. And I was just like, okay, I'm not driving, so we've got 2 hours to just, search away. And I found some things and I couldn't find others, and then I got angry with myself because I'm like, why can't I do this? And then someone stepped in and was like, I found everything. And I'm like, that's why I love my chat. Like,
speaking of which, that someone's been missing for a couple of days, so I've been reaching out.
He was here yesterday.
Yeah.
Is he all right?
Normally he's been messaging me, so he hasn't messaged me back, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I will.
Might be just busy.
Yeah, he was in my chat last night, I think. Yeah, he was in my chat last night. So we're all we're good. If I don't see him today, he's usually at night. It's the best time to see him. But I swear I saw him yesterday. Every day starts to run together, and then with this snow, so we still have snow in the bushes, but the grass is kind of drying up. But Mr. Squid's been off work for 2 days because
did you hear it's snowing in Miami today?
Well, huh?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter live feed from one of the hotels. It was flurries. I'm like, that's funny.
We're not smarter than you. We just know different things than you. Yeah, and I just say the chat is smarter than me because as a collective, we come together and use our individual talents to. And that's why YouTube is supposed to be fun. Like, all this drama that goes down in YouTube,
Yes.
it makes me mad, because YouTube is supposed to be fun. It's fun to know a group of people who are interested in the same things as you are. Like, I know Mr. Squid doesn't really like the whole me doing YouTube thing. Like, he doesn't get it, which is fine. But, like, I have people to talk to that are interested in the same things that I am, instead of me boring him to death talking about a court case that I was watching. Like, he's like, I don't care. Like, he's not mean about it. It's just not something that interests him. So me talking to him about it is like talking to a brick wall. Like, so I have people to talk to. This is supposed to be fun. And yes, it is my source of income, but like, yeah. Flash fan, shush, just this one. Flash fan sends me like links to every trial that you can think of, and he's like, hey, did you hear about this one? Hey, did you hear about this one? So most of my trial coverage that I do, or trials that I've interested in and talked about, I've gotten from Flash fan. And he sends me, you really think that I'm smart enough to save all the links that I get, like, that I find? Oh, I'm searching for this. Oh, I found it. And I forgot where the link was. And Flash fan's like, oh, I got it. Here it is. Like, he's the.
Well, over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that your Discord is turning into the same thing that As the Gavel drops.
Well, it was kind of always meant to be just a place where I could organize my thoughts. So, like, because on my computer, it's really hard to keep all those documents organized, because I don't have that kind of, so having that kind of system, like the Discord allows you to have a chat and then the documents, all the documents stay in one spot and I don't have to go searching for them. So even if I can't find one on my computer, but I'm like, I know I uploaded it to Discord. I just got to go back to Discord. And it's so
Yeah,
easy. And then all the
it
rest
is.
of it is
Yeah.
just fun.
And
Like, and I
we're
have
just
to
gonna
post.
call I'm gonna call your chat from now on the Unimatrix Zero because it's like a board collective.
What do you mean? We have
Like
yeah.
multi minds are better than one.
Oh yes. And we come together as like you remember Captain Planet when I was little?
Yep.
Yeah, like every all, forces combined. That's kind of where we're at. Like I might know something that Flash fan doesn't know, but he knows stuff that I don't know. And together we figure stuff out along with everybody else. I get asked all the time, "Hey, do you have this?" And I'll be like, "Well, I don't know, but I know where, someone who has it. Let me get back to you." And I do the same thing to other people. It's a group, we're a collective here. We all do our own things, but like, you know, I try to be different too. Like I'll see a case, but I'll cover it differently than everybody else because if I just do the same thing as everybody else, there's no point. Like I
Well,
don't want
I'll
to
be
be
honest. One of the
here.
reasons I like watching your content and being in chat and all that is because you don't try to interject your own opinion over things. You read the thing, everything as it is stated as fact, and then you try to analyze that.
Yeah, I was always that kid who had to ask why. Like I was the kid who took apart the radio and couldn't put it back together because I needed to know how it worked. Like I was always that kid that was like, why? 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 So when I see somebody write something, I'm like, why did they do that? And that's kind of
Yeah.
lead me back to when I see like misspellings and stuff. I'm like, is your misspelling just because you were in a rush, or is that a problem, a larger problem with your writing style as a whole? So I analyze things. Psychology is my psychology was my favorite classes in college. Like if I go back for my next degree, I'm 2 classes away from a minor in psychology. So I'm a if I want another degree, but I don't know if I want one. I don't know. I kind of like this, but I kind of like to be educated on things too. I have 10 letters behind my name, and not one of them helps me with YouTube.
I mean, I'm 4 years away from getting a PhD in both cybersecurity and digital marketing. And for some reason, I don't think that's going to help me in my life.
I think it will.
We'll find
You
out.
know, well, one, it's not a bad thing to know. Like, I just want to take some cybersecurity classes just to know, like, because my curiosity gets me. And that's where, like, my friends call me a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Like, I'm not great at
Hmm.
any one thing, but I know a lot about a little. And I know a lot of shit that's like, where did you find that out at? I'm like, I don't know. Something I picked up along the way. And this is just the e-transcript. So that was the first. We made it through the probable cause certificate and all of that fun stuff.
Yep.
All right. That was all right. So that was so there's a couple of things. There's 217, the counts. We already did that. 228, motion to review bond. They put all those documents into one probable cause certificate. So it's interesting because these motions are the same ones we just read.
And living, you're never too old to go back to school. My grandfather was actually in college courses until he was 95.
Oh, I know. I know what you meant. I wasn't trying to be if I sounded like I was being like attitude-ish, I didn't mean it like that. Said I know that you asked for permission and I think it's a nice thing for you to do. I only meant he's brave to talk about it. And that he is. That's one of the reasons that I did ask for permission because it is a sensitive subject and it was like and that's why I asked him if he wanted to be here cuz I don't want to force him to be here, but I also don't want to do it, You know what I mean?
Well,
Like it
it's like I said on my live stream, my goal with all of this is if I can help even just one person get out of a situation like my daughter was in.
And
All,
anybody with
everything
children,
will be worth it.
like, and I can say, "Oh, I've never been in an abusive relationship," but that might not be that might be true, but maybe I have a friend that I don't know is, and I see things from what you have said, and, and anybody who's a parent, like, it just and especially when you haven't personally had haven't had that experience, you don't know what to look for. So,
And hindsight is 2020, and as a parent, you can see that. You can see the signs after it's all said and done. And that's one of the things that actually hurts the most. To know that you missed those things. To know that you might have been able to do something beforehand to prevent the tragedy. But my goal now is to simply help others get out of a situation to where they might be in the same situation.
so I'm gonna open up a couple of documents because that one was really long, but there's a couple that are 37. I figured out a system for getting through for sorting it out. I'm going by month and then looking down for the year. So
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm getting all the 2022 documents up because they're all labeled with the date. It's just they're all sideways and you know, so it's just taking me a little bit of a. Oh, there's two different orders here. There's that. There's that. Okay. I've got four documents up. And this is what I wanted to do beforehand, but with it being such a weird pain day, like my butt didn't want to get off the couch because I was curled up in a ball. Like I need to walk. I need to start exercising again because that's the only thing that takes the pain away, but it hurts. It's a catch 22, you know?
Yes, it is.
And I hate it. All right, let me minimize this to make life easier. There we go. Drive safe, Cynthia. All right, so 37, 322, and this is why I didn't want to open too many documents, because I want to be able to see them all. What the heck? 20. There we go. He has another bush. So many documents. So many documents. Let's see this one. I'm just trying to organize this where I can go from one to the next without a break. 5, 3. All right. And I think all of these are worth the time to read, even though they're short. They are actually like super worth it. First is his plea. A state of Nebraska versus the douchebag comes down to the defendant to show the court that the following irregularities exist herein, which are shown by facts extrinsic to the record, to which there was insufficient evidence adduced to the preliminary hearing to warrant this case to be bound over to the district court for trial. Oh, see, Kruger v. Brainerd. I read that initially as brain dead. Wherefore, the defendant prays that the information may be quashed in the prosecution against him abated. I
Yeah.
the word quashed in a legal filing always I just it's funny. Like, okay, so he wanted the charges dropped. Of course he did. Like, why wouldn't you? Nobody wants to be charged for murder. Mr. Braindead. Yeah, that's I had to read it. I was like Kruger versus Braindead. I'm like, no, that's not it. Oh, that's where my brain goes today. Minimize. All right, the next one is And a lot of these are short, so it's like me just having to and I hate StreamYard for this. They won't let me just switch from window to window. I have to
Oh, I know
I
that
have
it's so annoying.
yeah. Unless I share my entire screen and then it's like you can see what I'm looking at here. Let me make sure I don't have anything to dox myself. No, I'm good. There we go. See, I've got them all lined up. So, comes now the state of Nebraska by and the defendant herein by and through counsel stipulate the statutory discovery that is reciprocal to the state as provided by Nebraska Revised Statute 29-1912, Statute 29-1913, 1916, and 1917, reissued in 2016. It is further stipulated that the parties shall exchange proposed witness lists at least 10 days prior to trial. Further stipulated that parties shall take the depositions of endorsed witnesses, and depositions shall be held in the jury room of the Kimball County Courthouse or other such available office in the courthouse at a date and time mutually agreed by the parties. Defendant shall be responsible for arraigning a court reporter and subpoena of a witness. Parties herein stipulate that discovery of the potential testimony of the witness is material to the defense and trial in preparation of all parties herein. So basically, just stating every trial does this. Like you have to have jury set or witness list by this time. You have to have your depositions done by this time. This is the last day that you can file motions. Like if you want a motion in limine, it has to be filed by here. So every trial court does this. It's just and I am going to close my Discord because I don't want to dox anybody on Discord. This is 522. This is 428. We got this one first. Like I said, this is what they all look like. Like there's all of this. Like open and there we go. Now I can it's all of his this is everything I was sent. So and what I was able to find online. All right. Glad y'all can see my entire screen now. It's so much easier to do it this way than try to just share the window, because then I have to stop and start and stop and start. Motion to review bond. This was in 428, so this is the second motion to review bond. Comes down to the defendant by and through counsel and request the court to set a new appearance bond in this matter or order defendant's release for medical treatment. So this basically is the same thing they filed. Exact same thing they filed.
Yes.
Like it is word for word, cut and paste, except for the date. This was May 3rd. Notice of hearing was the next hearing was May 3rd. But this is literally the exact same cut and paste. Like they couldn't come up with anything new. Because if the judge denied it last time for the exact same things, you really think he's going to approve it for the exact same things? I wouldn't. I'm like, you're not showing me anything new. Like, yeah, I didn't take these, like the only thing different in this one is the diagnosis. Defendant suffers gravely from cholesterolosis, which causes polyp which stick to the walls of his gallbladder and has caused intermittent internal bleeding. And emphasis on intermittent. You're not constantly bleeding to the point you're going to bleed out internally. So that was the only thing that was different, was they specified more of the, yeah. Well, they should have amended what they said. If they were going to file a completely new motion, like you just at least change something, like change a reasoning. And his medical condition, you just were a little more specific, but that was it. All right. journal entry order. And since these aren't recorded, these are, the judge puts in orders and review. There's, instead of a hearing being recorded, a hearing is basically just a notes taken. State v. douchebag. I'm thoroughly enjoying saying douchebag every time. Like,
douchebag, bastard. I mean, everything rolls for him, so.
I'm thoroughly enjoying being able to call someone a douchebag and not really give a crap. The court has considered the defendant's motion for bond review. The cash provisions of bond remain in full force and effect or unchanged. The court permits the defendant to have contact with his minor children under the following conditions. Such communication is to be made in complete conformance with provisions of the protection order entered in the Kimball County District Court. Such communication is additionally to be monitored and or recorded by the staff in the correctional facility or jail in which the defendant is being housed. Under no circumstances is the defendant permitted to discuss his pending criminal matters with the minor children or any other witnesses in these communications. In the event that the defendant posts the requisite cash bond and is released from custody, the court requests that this motion be reset for hearing to consider any additional necessary bond conditions for such communication as may be then necessary. All other bond conditions remain in full force and effect unless specifically modified herein. Derek Weimer. Well, and then, it's notarized. This is how the motions are. So we were up to 5/5/22. Let's see. Did we do that one? Oh, that was his journal entry for the hearing. It's just manslaughter, attempted to class the 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D felony, attempt of a class 3 or 3A felony, attempt of a class 4 or 3 or 3A felony, possession of firearm. It really doesn't say much. Defendant's motion for bond review is taken up, comments made, under advisement. It's basically like cliff notes of the hearing. Sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. And you never quite know what you're going to get. Sometimes these hearings are like 5 minutes, and sometimes these hearings are quite lengthy. Oh, Shirley.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, 16-year-old girl was killed and a 17-year-old boy injured. The 17-year-old boy that did the killing turned the gun on himself. I mean, that's tragic. Like, I have two ways of looking at something like that outside of the tragedy from like the court, the justice part of it is now you don't have to put the parents through a trial. However, the parents don't get justice. Like, so it's this double-edged sword. I'm sorry, Shirley. Well, I hope you don't know them personally, but if you do, give them our best. Because
please do.
I can't.
As a parent that has literally been through something like this, what we're reading right now, I can tell you that justice really doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's keeping it unless it comes down to removing the individual legally from the face of the earth, or putting them away for such a long time that they could never hurt anybody else. Anything less is hard to deal with.
I can't even imagine what I would do. I just can't. Like, I'm horrible. I'm kind of evil when it comes to my children or my child, if you haven't noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anybody who goes after my child, I get very I get very mama bear mode. And I don't feel one bit bad about it. However, it's one of those things of I hope I never have to become mama bear mode. I
I hope
don't
you
like
never
to.
have to do that either.
I don't like to. Well, when I get very protective because I am a YouTuber. God, I hate calling myself that. But like I hate calling myself a YouTuber, but it is what it is. And
You're a
it's one of those
content creator.
things. It's one of those things of I chose this. My child did not, and my fiance did not. The only reason that she is on my channel at all is because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I can't avoid it. Um, like the only way that I could avoid it is to stream when she's in bed, but that's that's hard. Like, because I can't stay up that late because I need sleep too. So, like, and she's not, most of the time she's off camera. Like, and I've noticed myself, like, I used to post pictures of her on Facebook and stuff to my family. I don't anymore. I'm like, if you want to see her, check out my channel. Like, FaceTime us or, like, watch my content. Because I don't, oh yeah, Flash fan Bruce learned that the hard way, and they called me unhinged for it. Peculiar Optics called me unhinged. See? Hey, look who's in the
Yep.
chat.
I see him. I see him.
Look who's in the chat. I now I have unhinged merch. So I have a merch store. I made merch. I haven't sold any merch yet, but because I really haven't posted it, but like because I'm still like changing the designs and trying to, fix. But I have unhinged merch. It says unhinged on the internet. It's like thanks people for not only making my channel more popular, but giving me merch ideas. So it is what it is. All right, getting back into this, we have 6/17/22 motion to review bond again.
Yep.
Again. What about me? You're
We were
awesome.
just wondering where you were.
He said he hadn't seen you in a while, and I thought I saw you yesterday, but he was worried about you. We were just checking up. Comes down to the defendant by and through counsel and requests the court to set a new appearance bond in this matter or order the defendant's release for medical treatment yet again. And is it okay? The extradition waiver.
This one is different.
Huh?
This one is different.
The defendant suffers gravely from cholesterolosis, which causes polyps.
Read number 1.
Oh, a bond is set. Yeah, that's the same as before. 100,000 with 10%.
Bond is set.
Oh.
Bond has not been set in the previous ones.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's the change.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
I fought for weeks to make sure that he would not get bond, and the judge finally said, okay, we're going to give him bond.
Defendant has been treated in the last 6 months, Cheyenne Regional Hospital. Defendant's medical need for surgery has not been addressed. Defendant is not a threat to abscond or otherwise fail to appear. Defendant would submit to chemical testing, reporting to law enforcement in a curfew. If released, defendant will report to the court of jurisdiction upon release for hearing to set any additional requirements of his appearance bond. Wherefore, defendant prays that the court grant the hearing to set conditions of bond and release defendant from custody on posting a signature recognizance bond in penal amount of $10,000. See, I hate that when it's set at 100,000. Why do you reduce it? Like, yeah. What's the like? Why do you reduce it?
So I can tell you that I made a number of phone calls when I was told that bond had been set. Nobody ever paid his bond.
Well,
Use your imaginations. Nothing I did was illegal, though. His father wouldn't even pay his bond. As a matter of fact, over time, his father and I actually became pretty good friends.
well, that's a turn of events.
Yeah, he loved my daughter like his own. And he resented his own son because of what happened.
I mean, even the best of parents can have shitty kids. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a. Speaking of kids, she was down for a nap, but I hear breathing, running down the hallway. Angel. Okay, maybe I didn't. Or maybe her dad caught up with her because he's in his office, also known as the guest bedroom / the Elmer Fudd room. All right, motion to suppress statement. So here's an interesting one. Comes out of the defendant in this cause and submits written motion to grant him a hearing herein for the purpose of determining which, if any, of his pretrial admissions or statements were made voluntarily, intelligently, or understandingly, and which, if any, there are of admissible at trial of this cause, and thereafter to suppress any and all pretrial statements, admissions, or confessions which were not made voluntarily, intelligently, or understandingly, or which were obtained in violation of his rights under the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 12 of the Nebraska Constitution, or are otherwise the fruit of an unlawful arrest or illegal detention.
Isn't that complete ass shit?
Bullshit. This is also kind of funny. Anybody over the age of 30 knows who Elmer Fudd is.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Flash fan. By the way.
Happy birthday, yeah.
So Elmer Fudd was a character in Looney Tunes, a Warner Brothers Saturday morning cartoon. Oh no! Oh no! Hold on, 1 second. Elmer Fudd was a hunter, so we have a room that's specifically. All I hear from the living room is, "Oh no!" I will be right back.
So while she's being right back, I'll tell you guys an interesting fact. A lot of these I've never seen any of these documents, but the prosecutor kept me so up to date with everything that I knew exactly what was happening and when and what was said. And this motion here, what he was actually trying to accomplish is his statements to the police when they arrived on scene that he said he had killed his wife. He wanted that suppressed so it couldn't be used against him. And he considered his arrest that night illegal. The only possible way that would have been illegal in any state would have been standing your ground or self-defense. So there's the little one.
Mia just woke up from a nap. She was trying to dismantle something. It's okay, baby.
Just woke up. She's so grumpy.
Yep. She's like me when I wake up. Woo! You're fine. You're fine. That was mommy's fault. It's okay. Hi. It's okay. It's okay. All right. I know you're not awake yet, and that's okay. Mommy's like that in the morning too. There's a reason why the earliest I can stream is like 9:15, 9:30, because I am not a morning person. I'm not a nighttime person either. I'm like, my best hours are between like 2 and 6. That's where I'm most functional. Girl, you had some serious bedhead. Did you have a good nap? Yeah. Okay.
I don't stream anything before 9 a.m. because I have to play taxi to my kids.
Well, there's that.
Because for some reason I have teenagers that don't want to get driver's licenses.
I didn't get my driver's license until I was 18, but there's a story behind that. You know, when you switch states and every state has their own laws.
Oh,
Ohio was 15 and a half, but I hadn't got it yet. When I moved to Kentucky, it was 16, so I had to wait till 16. And then you had to take, in Kentucky, you didn't have to take driver's ed, so I didn't. You had to take either driver's ed or like a course after you got your driver's license. That was like a safety course, and it was faster to do that. So I didn't get my driver's license before I moved out of Kentucky. Went to Wisconsin, had my temps from Kentucky, but couldn't get my driver's license because I didn't have driver's ed. So here I am, the only person driving away from driver's ed. Because I had been driving for 2 years at that point. And then I was like 17 and a half. And I'm like, I might as well just wait till I'm 18. It is easier. So like my 18th birthday, I just went and got it. I'd been driving since I was 15, but still hadn't quite got the documents yet. So it's like, not that I couldn't drive, I just couldn't legally drive. Hey, baby squid, here's a banana mink. We actually don't have anything in the house. And she finished her last little like chocolate bar, protein bar yesterday. So she's went in the closet today in the pantry and she's like wanted me to lift her up and she's looking for the box. And she's looking and she's pissed because she can't find it. And I'm like, you ate it yesterday and I haven't gone shopping because, well, you know, welcome to Georgia in the snow. Nobody gets anything done. So we don't currently have bananas or her protein bars right now. So she's kind of forced to eat real food or other foods. Like, she has this thing where it's like, I like this food. I just don't like this food right now. I'm like, oh, you're already a teenager. But I'm like that too. So it's Mr. Squid. It's like, well, yeah, we like that food. We just don't want it now. And we won't eat it for like a month and then we'll be addicted to it. Like right now, he eats the same thing for lunch every day. And it was like, it's just one of those things of like, he probably will get on a kick. And then when he doesn't eat it, he won't eat it for like 2 months. Angel, come back here, baby. I can hear her whining in the other room, but she won't come here. I can't, you know. Oh, Daddy got her. Motion in limine. Comes now the defendant before trial and moves motion in limine for the court to enter an order instructing the state or its witnesses not to mention nor testify to any of the allegations in Kimball Police Department and Kimball County Sheriff's Office incident reports going all the way back 6/17/21, 2020, 3 in 2019, 2 in 2018, 2 in 2017, 1 in 2015, and 1 in 2012. And then a citation in 2022.
That's interesting to me. Nobody has mentioned that one to me. Why were they notified on the 2nd of anything?
He got a citation. I don't know what it was. I'll have to look up what it was, but it might have just been like a speeding ticket. So, because it was a citation, so it wasn't like he wasn't arrested. She's not awake yet. Oh.
She is an unhappy little girl right now.
She's always like that when she wakes up. She doesn't like to be awake. Hey, Musi, I hope you're doing all right. All right. The state cannot show a proper purpose for introducing such evidence in its introduction would violate Nebraska Revised Statute 27-403 and 404. I mean,
so they can't mention his previous criminal history.
Yep.
That makes zero sense to me, to be honest, because that shows cause that he's a violent individual.
Yeah, and I understand why the defense wants it thrown out. However, it's
Oh boy. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Okay, it's really funny.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Come here, Angel Bug. Where are you hiding at? Where are you hiding?
You see, lady, I hope your surgery goes well for you.
It's okay. Oh, hey, you want to say hi? Ooh, she's on a tear.
Oh boy. I remember those ages.
She big mad. She big mad. Oh, Musy, did you get everything figured out? Oh, yeah, she's big mad. She's just when she wakes up, she wants to be left alone, but she wants to snuggle, but will be left alone at the same time. It's an interesting conundrum. I don't know. Yeah, they don't want any of his prior bad acts. None of them. But here's my question. As I haven't looked up a lot of his prior stuff, I looked up a little, but like I was mostly looking for the stuff for this case. Is any of that against his ex-wife?
Yes. I actually, when about 4 or 5 months after the incident happened, when I had his full name and date of birth and everything, I actually went through and paid $40 and had a background check done. A proper one, like FBI style. And I really wish I would have saved all the information, but domestic violence in 2019, domestic violence in 2018, drunken intoxication. I mean, there's all sorts of things.
Yeah, she is.
And I mean,
It's right here.
He has a rap sheet that goes all the way back that we can publicly see when he is 18.
I think I saw that in 2000. It was like 2004, 2005, something like that. But if I was looking closer at these dates because I was just naming off the year, but 12/25/15, he did something on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Christmas Day. Like, that's how you know you're a heartless asshole, is you do something on Christmas Day. But like, I want to know what this citation was the day before. I mean, it could be something as simple as a speeding ticket.
It could be. Like I said, I've never seen that one, so I don't know.
But it could be something as it could be from a speeding ticket to like they were called out to the house for something. So I'll have to look into that one. So, motion in limine from the state or from the defense. Motion in limines are always fun to me, like interesting. When I see a motion in limine, I'm like, oh, we got to see what that is. I don't know if you believe in.
I would appreciate it.
Musy, do you want to link? Hold on. Let me send a link. Yeah, she big mad. She don't know what she wants. She'll figure it out eventually. She's always like this. Like this is not an unusual event for her to scream and cry like this when she first wakes up. And I've learned that you literally can't do anything about it because the more you try to make her to offer her things, the more she gets mad at you, which typical woman, right? I'm fine. Just leave me alone.
PM, you're still in the hospital? Oh, okay.
Oh no. But yeah, Musy, if you want to do that, I'll connect the two of you.
I think we're both in the Discord, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, motion to review bond yet again.
Again.
Comes out of the defendant buying through counsel and requests this court to set a new appearance bond in this matter or defendant's release for medical treatment. In support of this motion, defendant shows the following. Bond has been set at $100,000. Same thing, suffers greatly from that condition, cholesterol cysts. And they haven't even updated the defendant. Okay, defendant has been treated in the last 6 months at Cheyenne, all these places. So so this is August. I have a problem with this motion based on one thing. He was detained in February. So I could see he was detained in January. So before January, so 2020, I could see him being treated at all these. She literally says in the last 6 months. So he's been to all these different places in the last 6 months, even though he's been incarcerated. Like, that doesn't add up to me. So it's like this copy and paste motion doesn't make any sense. Like,
they hauled him around the entire state of Nebraska then they hauled him into Colorado for medical treatments. She's still big mad.
Oh, she big mad. She big mad. She's just she didn't wait.
Mute, unmute.
Yeah, she's hiding behind the couch. He tried to get her and she ran she ran to the other side of the couch. She went to the other side. She ran to the other side. There's no
pleasing them when they get to that point.
Huh?
There's just no pleasing them when they get to that point.
I kind of like motion and lemonade. Angel. Flash fan says give her some candy. Angel, you want a snack? You want some Teddy Grahams? Okay. Well. Oh, there we go. All right. I'll be right back.
Go do you do you. Oh my gosh. Anybody got kids, you guys know. When they get to that point, it's entertaining, but you just don't know what to do. Food always stopped you, Flash fan. My mother used to give me a cap full of whiskey, whether I was teething or not. That could have contributed to why I was an alcoholic when I was a teenager. Maybe. I don't know. You know, even when they get to that point and they're screaming up a storm, still a precious moment.
She probably wants both of us to sit in the same room at the same time. So I tried to give her my...
At any point, if you need to go, you say the word.
Yeah, I might need to get going in a couple minutes if she doesn't calm down. We can go through a couple more documents, though. Oh, there we go. We're almost done with 2022. So we're almost done with 2022, I think. Because there was that motion. Yep, motion to review bond, and then there was nothing until there was nothing from August to. There was literally nothing in August or September, October, November of any of these years. That is weird.
Yep.
That is weird. All right. Motion limiting, motion to suppress statements, and then order to appeal or order to appear. Getting ahead of myself with that one. So 9 a.m. March 7th for pretrial. So he was supposed to be pretrial on March 7th of 2023. That was the pretrial hearing. We'll see how well that went. I got to get going.
You do you. I appreciate you. You know that.
I got to get going. I think she's just having a day. So we'll go over this.
Mama
next
duties
week.
always.
Yes, mama duties always come first. We will definitely go over this next Thursday if that still works for you.
Yeah.
We'll set same day, same time. All right.
Same channel.
And I don't know if anyone is live. I will see about who I can redirect you to. What she's having she works herself up into a tizzy, kind of like I do. She's like me like that. And when you get worked up, it's really hard to come back down. When someone says, like when someone says calm down, it's like the last thing you want to do. Who is weekly wrap up? Broken Baker is live with a new Karen Reed filing. So we can go over to Karen or Broken Baker. Tell him I said hi, and I'm sorry I can't join y'all.
You'll do.
So.
Alrighty. Take care of the little one. Thank you so much.
All right. You guys have a great day. Thanks, Captain Kearn, for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah. Bye, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning at like 9:30 for to talk about Dr. Joe. Bye, guys.